Welcome, low ego action heroes and phoenixes. It's me, Debbie Levitt from Delta CX, and I am back after taking almost 2 months off of streaming for good and bad reasons. We had some internet problems, we had people on summer vacations, and then September I was away, and some unfortunate things happened while I was away, which you may or may not have read in my Medium article and LinkedIn post. And so now we're trying to get back into the streaming thing. So let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you're seeing me live. This is our usual Wednesday show of Ask Me Anything. Normally we have Dr. Nick join us on the second Wednesday of each month, but he was not available today, so it's going to be just me getting back into the streaming vibe. But I am here to answer your questions, and mentoring and advice are free. You are welcome to ask any question on any topic, from doing the work to getting out of the work to all kinds of things. We are here to help you with whatever path you are on, or to find that path. So you can ask in the chat, or you can also ask at our anonymous question URL, dcx.to/Q. It looks like we're live on LinkedIn, which is great. So it looks like we should be live on all of our usual places. We might accidentally be labeled as karaoke on Twitch. I forgot to change that, but hello. We'll be getting back into the streaming schedule, doing shows Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Italy time, which it is now. And Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about how I have been using Claude, hashtag not sponsored, for qualitative research, analysis, synthesis, and reporting. I've been using it all this year with some good results. And I think for people who want to try to make their processes speed up a little bit, or might be under pressure at their jobs to use AI, this is a decent use of it that has some pretty good outcomes, but there's a lot of work for you to still do and a lot of babysitting, and so we'll be talking about that. So, as always, this is my time to mentor you. Let's see what's cooking over on LinkedIn. And turn down my volume so I don't hear me out there. So, hello, people on LinkedIn. Let me know if you have any questions. I welcome all questions about doing CX and UX and product work, as well as leaving that work. For those of you who might have read my book, Life After Tech, that is a direction you might want to start going in, at least make some plans, plant some seeds. And I know many of you are not used to me streaming, as it's been a couple of months, but I've missed doing this, and hopefully I can help you. I see a few people joining live on LinkedIn. Remember, this is my time to help you. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. They'll show up on my screen, or you can send an email to There's a one question survey. It comes into my email, dcx.to/Q. All questions welcome. How have you been? Where are you watching from? What's for lunch? Let me know that I'm not alone here. It's quiet over here, and I want to make sure my systems still work. Let's check if YouTube is working while I wait for some questions. Let's see, YouTube. I don't even remember what buttons to hit. It has been a while. Okay, we've got some live viewers on both LinkedIn and LinkedIn and YouTube, and I don't have Twitch open yet. Let me see. It logged me out. So I'll have to check on that later. But yes, okay, this is functioning. We are live, and I'm here to help. So how can I help? What do people want to talk about? Do we want to talk about... Hello, Ana Lucia. I've missed you so. How are you? Do we want to talk about the job market? Do we want to talk about how to do the work better? Do we want to talk about personal things? I am here for all of you. I know some of you have been reaching out to me lately for private coaching, which is lovely, and I hope more of you will. You can find more at dcx.co. coach. Some people I'm coaching around some job interviews they've been having, and some people have been coming to me for life coaching, for life decisions. So both are available. Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get a notification. Was that even on Twitch? I don't know. We'll have to check some stuff and get back in the groove, and hopefully notifications will start showing up again. But yes, I'm a little out of practice over here. But I want to know what's on everybody's minds and how I can help you. So let me know. Since we do this every week. If people don't have questions, I usually hang out 10-15 minutes and see if anybody does have a question, and if not, we wind the show down. But if you do have questions, I definitely want to answer them. Sorry, my lights aren't that bright, and of course, now we're getting darker earlier, so I think I look a little gloomy and weird. I'll have to fix my lights. Ana Lucia says, no interviews here. The job market in Portugal is still in summer mode, apparently. Yeah, sometimes it goes straight from summer mode into Christmas. And people are not thinking about jobs because, holy cats, it's a holiday season. So hopefully people will be having some luck with that, or at least planning what they might do down the road, because people are finding increased numbers of layoffs and contracts ending, unfortunately for me as well. And got to look at what else there is, because there are more people than jobs. And what will we work on? I know I am planting seeds, and I hope you are too. Anyway, we'll give it a few more minutes to see if people have any questions this week. And if not, it'll be a good little leg stretching to have done a mini stream and say that I'm back, and leave this up in case people come to the YouTube channel and they wonder if I'm still alive. I am, and we will start to do streaming again. And Ana Lucia says, it's kind of odd. I haven't been seeing job offers for pretty much anything here. Okay, we've got ABGY. Hello. Let's take a look at, let's copy this question, and I'll put it in my list of questions to put in the YouTube for later. And let's put it up on the screen. Hold on. Okay, so yeah. Oh, hello, Dom. I didn't recognize your mystery name. Okay, so putting up your question, which will eventually roll off on this side of things. Your question says, and it's a little small, but it says, hi Debbie, I'm finding so many things painful with the UX job market. I feel that so many companies now want you to have already or previously designed the exact thing already. Also, when it comes to contractor roles, the roles seem just as specific, but also a lot of the contractor roles seems to be companies fishing for talent, but actually aren't that committed to hiring someone, and from what I've seen, actually just recruit someone internally if that's the reason. Yes, I think there's some questions in here, and I'm going to go with yes. The UX job market is still painful. I think a lot of tech is feeling a lot of the same things. It's not just us in UX. Many companies, I agree with you. I've been seeing it for a couple of years now, where companies really expect you to have done exactly what they are looking for. They expect you to have done this thing in this industry at a company our size, at a company at our growth or scaling rate, with teams with this composition. That's some of the reasons I was rejected from jobs last year. It was like, yeah, I've done this, and they were like, yeah, you've done this, but at a company a little bit bigger and at a company a little bit smaller, but you haven't done it at a company our size. And it was kind of like, what? Like, do you genuinely believe I can't do this? What? And so I am hearing a lot of that. I think it's true. And I think it's because it is an employer's market that somebody has that feeling of like sitting back on a golden chair and saying like, we'll just interview people until we find the exact person we're imagining in their head, and they'll know everything about the industry and they've already done this and whatever. And yeah, it's the employer's market. And so that's just something for us to remember. Yeah, Ana Lucia says, if you've done this for bigger and smaller companies, you could probably do it for medium too. Hey, I knew that, but these were some of the foolish reasons I was turned down after interviews last year. And, the reasons are strange, and in some cases getting stranger. Companies, I think, are fishing more for contractors. It's funny, the company that I'm at now, and my contract winds down on Friday. It is winding down early, and it is not my choice, so this is an unpleasant thing for me to have to tell you. But I find it very interesting that it sounds like the full-time people that they're laying off are told, like, okay, you're laid off, you're done, you're out of here, this is it, this is your last minute working here, you're losing access to everything, goodbye. But me as a contractor, my contract actually says they have to give me 10 days notice. So I was told on September 30th, my last day would be September 10th and, October 10th. So that's this Friday. I've got a few more days at the job I'm working at now, and then I am available. But I almost feel like I've ended up hypothetically, possibly, I don't know. I haven't seen a full-time employee's contract, but at least I get to stay for 10 days and do some work and bill for some time and get paid a little bit more. I think if you're laid off and they say, this is your last minute here, you're toast, you're done, you're logged out of everything, maybe I've ended up better. So, like, I'm not afraid of contracts. I think contracts can be great. I don't think contracts are more or less stable than anything else at this point. I think that nothing is really stable at this point. Contractors can be fired at any moment for any reason, and people can be laid off at any moment for any reason. And I think you just have to find a job you think you can do for now, for as long as it lasts. I'm sorry to see my job ending early. I've liked it. I even got 2 people from our community hired there, so it's a little surreal to be leaving. But someone decided that my guess is I'll be replaced by someone less expensive, but I don't know. And but I think that's possible, and this is the direction things are heading in. Companies trying to do more with less. Companies trying to find less expensive people. And again, just because somebody's less expensive doesn't mean they're bad at stuff. There's a lot of people from other countries who charge less who are great. Absolutely great people. I would love them to be part of the community. I want them to find work. I want them to succeed. It's tough. It's tough for everybody out there. And, these are just some of the conversations we should have so that we can get these things off our chest, off our brains, whatever's the right way to say it. So that's how I see that. So, Dom, I'm not sure what your question was there, but I would just have to say yes. I also wanted to mention, since I haven't seen most of you for 2 months, that I finally beat menopausal weight gain, and I've been losing weight, and I'm very proud and excited about that. And I actually did it with the help of Claude. Yes, the AI. I'm still working with Claude. I still have more weight to lose, but I'm pretty darn excited about it. It's one of the good things that happened to me over the summer. Certainly better than September's been. Okay. Ana Lucia's got a question. Thank you for a question. Let's copy that and paste it into what will end up being the YouTube description later on and up on the screen as well. So, Ana Lucia says, what's your opinion on the papers and studies that say AI hype is dying down due to companies not using AI that much? I think what I would say is give me an example of that, because most of the companies I'm hearing about are trying to ramp up their AI usage, whether it's internal usage where they expect the workers to use more AI, or it's trying to build more AI tools for the customers. The hype seemed to hit a peak, and now people are like, this isn't what we expected. I think it really depends on what it is. Because I think what happened at the start was a lot of people rushed to make AI mostly in the form of a chatbot. And we know that AI chatbots and chatbots of all types are not usually well loved by people. people do not super love AI chatbots. And so if you rush out more AI chatbots, in many cases, these were not great. I think we saw, was it Klarna rolled back some of their AI chatbot because it wasn't doing well and people weren't happy with it and they had to go back to more humans. So I think that it really depends on what did you build for your customers, and was that based on good research and good knowledge of customers and where their pain points are and where the opportunities truly are? Or did you reverse engineer, like, hey, we've got AI now, where can we stuff it? And so I think these are some of the questions companies should ask themselves. And my feelings about AI is, if it makes your work better, more accurate, use it. If you are not better or more accurate or producing better outcomes, don't use it, or use it less, or use it differently. And I think people rush to try to stuff AI into everything, and some of that succeeded and some of that didn't. Ana Lucia says, bigger companies still seem to be pushing for AI, but I've seen people on LinkedIn sharing studies that AI is dying down and not being used as much. Augie Ray shared something like this 2 or so days ago. Yeah, I'm not reading as much of his stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if people are shying away from some of the poor uses. And some of these might be things that they built 2 years ago that they finally had to say, okay, it's been 2 years now, this really isn't working. And again, I would imagine that some of these are AI support type bots. That being said, I used a couple of AI support bots on different websites recently, and I found them to be quite good. So I wouldn't say that all AI usage or all AI support bots are disasters. Let's see, Ana Lucia's got a quote. A Stanford study recently found that 40% of US-based full-time employees reported receiving work slop in the last month. Roughly half of the people surveyed viewed colleagues who sent work slop as less creative, capable, and reliable than before. Meanwhile, 42% saw them as less trustworthy, and 37% saw that colleague as less intelligent. I'm not surprised. Let's dive into this a little bit more. And we'll certainly talk about it even more when on Tuesday, because on Tuesday I'm going to tell you how I've been using Claude in qualitative research, which I was skeptical about and many people are still skeptical about, but I'm having some success with it, so I want to show you that. But I can see why this is true, because we, at the job that I'll be wrapping up this week, we piloted some different AI tools, and then we ran surveys to ask people, like, how did that task go for you? And it sounds like, from what I read in the surveys, because I was given access to them, to the answers, it sounded like some people asked AI to do something, copied the answer, and pasted it into a Work document, like Confluence or something they had to share with a teammate. And in general, they just took whatever ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot gave them and moved it on down the line to the next person. And in many cases, it was incorrect, too long and wordy, didn't address the right things. And it sounds like many people, though not everybody, are taking the output from an AI tool and just assuming, well, that's great, move it down the line, pass it to the product manager or the leader or whoever. And I think that's where things are going wrong, because people feel like, well, AI must be good at this and must be doing a good job. I'll just do the thing. But the reality is that it still needs a lot of babysitting and triple checking, which we'll talk more about on Tuesday. Ana Lucia writes, and as consulting firms face rising questions of how AI will impact their business models, they are learning they must balance the rush to use AI with the dangers of AI work slop. One firm recently issued a partial refund to the federal government of Australia after providing their client with an AI-generated report littered with errors. Deloitte had to refund the Australian government. Thank you for that, Ana Lucia. I did see some of those go by on LinkedIn, which I'm not spending as much time on for the usual reasons. And as you can see, if you are providing someone with a report and it has human errors or AI errors, it sounds like you just didn't check it at all or enough. And whether that happened because of AI or because of sloppy work habits or unreasonable deadlines, we don't totally know why a famous company would submit a report full of errors and without having caught them. So my question is kind of maybe it's just me with my research hat on, but why? Let's get the critical thinking hat back out. Why? Why did they do this? Were they so pressed for time that they couldn't proofread the report? That seems unlikely. You would think that somebody would have time to give that report a read. Is it root cause analysis, please? Yeah, exactly. Is it because someone was lazy and they figured, it came out of AI, it's probably good enough, just copy it and paste it and give it to the client? Maybe that there was laziness. We don't know. So it could be deadlines. It could be laziness. Could be time pressure. It could be somebody couldn't find those mistakes. Sometimes people are giving this work to very junior people because they hope that by hiring junior people, they'll save money. And the junior people didn't catch the mistakes. Sometimes the mistakes are in areas that are harder to catch, like they refer to a law or they refer to a person and somebody reads it and they don't know if that law is real or if it's being described correctly, or they don't know if the person is real or if the person is being described correctly. So it could be a lack of knowledge where the person going into it isn't even the right person to proofread this because they don't have enough knowledge to catch mistakes. Ana Lucia says, that would be funny. If the government wanted a report done by ChatGPT, they could have done it themselves. Yes, and that's exactly what I've been saying on this channel and in other places for years, which is that if we try to teach people that product requirements documents and certain reports and consulting recommendations and reports about where we could innovate and find new markets, if you can just ask ChatGPT, where should we find new markets, or write this report for me, if that's really how you're going to do this, nobody's going to need your consulting company, or nobody's going to need you as a consultant. The whole point of these agencies and consultancies originally were to sell you people and intelligence and capabilities that you didn't have and that was going to be hard for you to find. And so if your consultant does not fit that bill or that description, or you're finding that a lot of the stuff is just AI wrote it, and therefore it's they plugged it in, they got a report, they gave it to you. Because what I'll be talking about on Tuesday is even when I do use Claude to help me with analysis, synthesis, and reporting, I'm still spending a half day to a whole day on it. It's not like I feed some stuff into Claude, it gives me something, I correct a couple of things, and I give it to my team, and it's a half-hour exercise. Oh, no. And I think that is the type of AI hygiene that you want to have, whether you're using AI for personal reasons or for work reasons, that it certainly is something that we need to continue to think critically about, challenge, question, and I try to see Claude, #not-sponsored, as more of a thought partner than as a thought replacement. And I think when you use AI as a thought replacement, you get into some dangerous territory, whether that's writing a report or saying, we're going to innovate. I'm going to ask AI how we can innovate. Okay, your competitors can ask AI the same question. So I think that no matter what you're doing, it's really important to question and challenge AI and to continue to do that, because it's, humans aren't perfect to begin with. AI is kind of, in some ways, less perfect than we are, and in some ways more perfect. It's a great encyclopedia of knowledge, but it doesn't always mix and match and remix things correctly. Ana Lucia says, I had to explain to one of my best friends how the agency consultancy work had changed. He still believed that consultancies had experts that companies don't. And it seems like it's not that nowadays. They simply send a random person, even if they don't have the right experience. Yeah, that started many years ago, where it used to be what we call a bait and switch, where a consultancy would go into a meeting with a company and they would say, hey, we're this great consultancy or agency. We do all these kinds of things and we have all these wonderful senior people. You know, we've got Larry Marine. He has 4,000 years of experience. He's amazing. Oh my gosh. And then they would go, oh wow, Larry Marine or Ana Lucy or whoever. The company would be sold. They would sign the contract. And then they would work with the agency or consultancy, who would usually, not always, go out and find the cheapest people they could find, freelancers, and they would just bring them in. And sometimes it was me, though I wasn't always the cheapest person, but certainly 10 or so years ago, I got pulled in on a lot of these projects, especially when I lived in San Francisco, because I was an experienced person, an expert in some areas. I got pulled in to work on this stuff, and cool, but that was a unique set of knowledge and expertise that I had, and so you can bring me in. But then what would happen is people would say, Debbie's kind of expensive. Let's find somebody with less experience than Debbie, and we'll give them the project, and they'll probably be fine. And it's kind of that good enough mentality where it's like, okay, you don't have to hire me, and you can hire someone with less experience, and maybe it'll be okay, but who's checking? Do you have anybody at your consultancy or agency who's going to check the work being done, glance at the files, read the files, look at the designs, critique the work? Is there anything in place to check for quality? And that way you can make sure that even if you do hire cheaper or less experienced people, cheaper and or less experienced people, that we can make sure that their work meets or exceeds the quality that this company has promised. And I used to see that all the time in the 2010s, though I'm sure it was being done before that, where a company would sell people, we've got Debbie, we've got Larry, we've got Melanie, we've got Darren and Nick. And then who would do the work? The person right out of college. And sometimes they did amazing work and sometimes they didn't. And a lot of agencies got caught, baiting and switching, where they would sell you on the greatest people at the company and then put none of those people on your project. Ana Lucia says, it's like they want entry-level workers doing the work of a lead or senior. It's cheap, cheap, cheap. Yes, and very often they will label you a lead or senior. You could have 1 or 2 years of experience and they will say, Ana Lucia or whoever, because Ana Lucia, you've got a few years of experience, but they would say, oh yes, she is our senior lead consultant. She's our senior lead UX analyst. And look, Ana Lucia is great at what she does and everybody should hire her, but she may or may not be at a senior or lead level, but a lot of these companies would just say that. And in fact, a company I worked at during the pandemic, I went into a CX and UX agency as kind of a change agent to fix what was broken at the agency so they could work better, get better customers, keep their customers, stuff like that. And one of the things that I found, because I wasn't working there as a researcher or designer, it was really as a kind of company improver, if you could call it that. And one of the things I found was that they had been sending work to a subcontractor that was, I think, in India, which again, a lot of people do. So I'm not going to say that's good or bad. Sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't. And of course, the higher a title someone had, the more they were paying for that person. And I remember they gave us someone who they claimed was a lead level person with 7 years of experience. And the company was like, great, we want very experienced people. We're an agency. We want to put good people on projects. Yes, give us your seniors and your leads. And when I came in and started kind of auditing what was going on, I went to these people's LinkedIn, which seems so obvious, right? And in many cases, they had 2 years of experience. And the company had sent us all of these weird resumes and CVs that I wonder if they were manipulated, that made it look like these people had 5, 6, 7 years of experience, but yet their LinkedIn made it look like sometimes 2, sometimes right out of school. And I went to our kind of operations finance person and I said, no one checked this? No one double checked? I mean, these people have some pretty unique names. I can find them on LinkedIn really easily. Did we look at their work before we hired them? Did we talk to them? Did we check their LinkedIn? Did we look at their portfolio? No, you've just been accepting these people from this other agency and you've been putting them on important stuff, and then you've been surprised when their work wasn't very good or the client would complain. You don't want that. And so, yeah, we had some tough conversations when we realized that that these people were not as good as they were being sold. By the way, if you have questions, put them in the chat or send it to dcx.to/Q. This is Ask Me Anything. We sometimes get talking, but I would love to get your questions so that I can answer them. You know, send it over. Send it over. Ana Lucia says, that would be scary. I don't want to be labeled as a senior or lead or whatever when I don't have experience to back it up. The expectations people have of a senior person are completely different from, oops, something popped up over my screen, from a mid-level. True. But you know what's funny, says Ana Lucia? That's sometimes what the current job market is pushing people to do, lying to make it seem like they're more experienced than they are. Yes, I've had a lot of people tell me that I should lie on my resume or CV, or that other people should lie. Why? Because you probably won't be found out. And look, maybe they don't call your old jobs and ask how long you stayed there or what was your title. You can get away with it, but I can usually tell from your work. I might not catch lies in your resume or CV. Okay, but when I see your work, I usually know. I have enough experience to figure these things out. You're unlikely to fool me, and that probably won't go well for you, because I would say if there's, the two things that trigger me the most are injustice and dishonesty. It's an injustice that you got the job by lying and someone else didn't, and through dishonesty. And so, a lot of those people are immediately on my shit list. And so I think it's important, if you want to resell other people or be a staffing agency and get people jobs, okay, but you have to be honest about what their capabilities are, because people will figure it out. I saw this problem also at TopTal. I think some of you know that I was at TopTal for 6 months or so, because I saw them pulling a lot of bullshit, and when I said something, they threw me out of TopTal. Story of my life. But we had a Slack channel for UX people, and I found a lot of people were saying, oh my God, I'm on this project and I'm in over my head, and this client expects me to do this type of design and I'm not sure what to do, or this client expects me to do this method of research and I haven't really done it before. And TopTal was selling a lot of people that had much less experience than I expected as the top 3% on the planet. And I ended up coming up with a hypothesis about TopTal at the time. This was probably 2018, 2019. So I don't know if they're any different or better now. Can't say, don't know. But I got the feeling that they tried to pick the people who had something about them that made them tough to hire. Like, I'm in Italy, so if people want me in an office, I can't come to an office. So that makes me a little harder to hire for people who, don't like remote work. And I just got the feeling TopTal was collecting weird people. And so I don't think it was the top 3%. Ana Lucia says, I can relate. I hate lying. I can't lie. You'd immediately know if I was lying. It shows on my face. It bugs me too much. Yeah, I don't like lying either. I definitely tell the truth, and sometimes I tell more truth than people want to hear, and sometimes it works out really well for me and people appreciate it, and sometimes it does not work out well for me and people did not want to hear it. Oh well. Comes with the territory. So I think it's just something that we have to look out for. But back to this original question, because we got off on a tangent. What about AI hype is dying down? I don't think AI hype is dying down. Go to LinkedIn. Go read the first 10 or 20 posts in your LinkedIn feed. What are they about? AI, right? AI is great. AI is terrible. AI is the second coming of God. AI will kill us all. I mean, I don't think the hype is dying down. I think the hype is very strong, and I think in some circles the hype is getting stronger. I think the usefulness of AI is improving, but it's up to companies to match that usefulness with their target audiences and what those target audiences need and expect. I've seen some of the tools I use lately adding AI, we're going to help you rewrite what you've written and write it better. And my thought was, I didn't need that. I didn't need that for two reasons. Number one, I didn't need that because I'm pretty happy with my writing. And number two, if I wanted to have my writing redone, I'd give it to Claude because Claude is my trusted AI. I have a good relationship with it. I know how to get what I need out of it. Why would I use your AI? I think I've come on here before, and I haven't used Miro's AI in a while, but it might have been last year that I used Miro's AI to make an image, and the image was just off the charts wacky. It made no sense. It was hilarious. Sorry, it made no sense. In fact, the concert I went to almost a month ago as part of my vacation, they made t-shirts and keychains and all these things out of this logo they had made for the concert, and we all noticed AI slop in the logo. And a lot of people complained to the artist, like, "What are you doing? You have visual designers who work for you. Why didn't you let them make something good? And if you at least wanted to get some ideas out using AI, why didn't you have professional artists fix it and make it better? That's, why leave it with nonsensical AI slop?" Ana Lucia says, people trying to sell AI stuff, but it doesn't mean it's like that in practice. In the past few weeks, people have found major issues with giving AI too many permissions, and it inserted malicious stuff. Yeah, look, we're still in the Wild West. We're still in the Wild West where people are like, oh my gosh, we have this technology. What can we do with it? Where can we put it? And they're not taking the human-centered design or user-centered design perspective of, hey, people need stuff. What can we make for them that will make them happier? And instead of finding out what users need and building that, we're going the opposite way. We're saying, hey, we have this AI. Where can we stuff it? Okay, but that's not necessarily going to make customers happy or happier. And that's that. Thank you for the thumbs up. And that's where that stuff is going to be strange, and that's where we need to have the conversations, and probably why my next book is going to be about product market fit, because I think we have forgotten. It's a startup, product market fit. But once you're past some of that early startup stages, nobody's thinking about product market fit anymore. But we should be. You want to stuff AI into a product? Does it fit the market? Is it a match to your target users? Is it a match to your current customers? You're forgetting about product market fit. So that's what I'm going to be working on, especially since Friday's my last day at my current job. Breaks my heart, not happy about it, but I'll get to work on my next book. And when my new laptop comes, I will sing in my booth and do some more karaoke streaming to keep y'all company, whether you are working or playing or trying to find work. I would like to keep you company with my music. Ana Lucia says, I hope AI stuff dies down, though. I'm tired of seeing sloppy work and the good enough. I agree. I tried to put some research stuff into Copilot a few weeks ago because my contract job was trying to test it out. And I uploaded transcripts of 8 interviews that I had done. And I said, here are these transcripts. Here's a couple of screenshots of some notes I made in FigJam. Do you have any questions? Just start there. Take a look at the stuff. What's your questions? And its questions were, who are the personas? Which wasn't relevant, so that was a weird question. And its other question was, did anybody talk about their process? And that's when I knew Copilot wasn't going to cut it, at least not for my purposes, because all 8 interviews were to find people's processes, and the FigJam notes were mapping their process. So the idea that Copilot could read 8 transcripts asking people to go step by step through their process and asking them follow-up questions and mapping it out. And it could read 8 of those and say, did anybody talk about their process? No, done with Copilot. Not the right tool for the job. Could it be good at something else? Maybe, but not that. Ana Lucia says there's good enough. And there's the good enough coming from perfectionists just trying to send something in time because they would be endlessly researching or doing something if they could. Yeah, and again, good enough always goes back to quality and standards. What is good enough? That's going to be different for different people. Has your team decided what's good enough? Has your company decided what's good enough? If you're getting complaints from customers, is it still good enough? So many questions. This is Ask Me Anything, which I do every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Italy time. I am happy to chat and advise and mentor on any topic or question you have. All topics and questions are welcome. They could be work-related, they could be personal-related. I am not a therapist, but I am a coach, and soon I will be an accredited coach, especially in life coaching areas. I think I have 20 more paid hours to go, and then I can qualify for the certification. So if you are curious about getting coaching from me, please check out dcx.to. Also remember, if you missed our conference in May, all of the videos are now on the Delta CX Hive, so don't forget to subscribe and check out our videos there. Ana Lucia says, honestly, I don't know what's good enough. I would always try to improve my work. When is it good enough to send? I can't speak for every project, but for me, it's usually good enough when I know that it is solving real problems or opportunities that our customers have, and it's not creating new problems. That's a key thing, because sometimes I've seen stuff where people go, well, we solved this problem for people, so, it's good. Let's get it out there. And then it's like, oh, but wait a minute. You solved this problem, but now the process is longer or harder or requires more knowledge or more information. Did you really improve it? Okay, you fixed this thing over here, or you added this feature you meant to add, but is this a good experience? Would it be seen as good enough by our customers? That's the ultimate thing. It's easy for a product manager to say it's good enough. It's easy for a leader or executive to say it's good enough, just ship it. Maybe even engineers might say, it's good enough, just ship it, we'll fix it later. But I always like to ask, is it good enough for customers? Would customers give it 5 stars out of 5? Hard to say. Going to be different for different things. Just check emails to see if I'm getting in any. Nope, that is not the. Oh, excuse me. I have an email, but it's not from any of you. As always, I stay here until people run out of questions. If you have any questions, give them to me now. Otherwise, we'll wrap up the show. And of course, I'll be here every Wednesday. If you want to send in a question and I am not live on the air, please do. You can always send questions to dcx.to/Q for questions. And that will come to my email, and I will grab it and save it for the coming week's stream. So the questions will not be lost. Questions will be answered. We also have our Discord community over here. You can find it at dcx.to/Discord. I would say it's fairly active. People come to talk about both work things and personal things. So it's a very supportive, open community. You are welcome to be anonymous there, and it is completely free. There is no charge to be part of my community. There hasn't been in the past, and I don't expect to start charging for it, so come on over. Ana Lucia says the fix it later is also one of the worst sins. It always ends up in debt. Yeah, it's very rarely fixed later, and then if you do fix it later, what did you risk? What did that cost? Is it too late? Did you lose customers? So many questions. I will have to put on more concealer next time since my light doesn't look as bright now that the sun is down. Well, we can probably wind down for today. Great to get back in front of this microphone. I look forward to more streams and showing you some of the new things I've been cooking up. I will be working on my product market fit content, though it's not ready yet. And let me know. Contact me and let me know the types of topics you'd like me to cover on my Tuesday streams or questions you have for the Wednesday streams. I always want to help more and serve everybody better. So don't be afraid to give me a suggestion. Maybe it's something that I can work on and put together for you. Ana Lucia says, and the executives always ask, isn't it working? Well, if it is, why are you trying to fix it? There we go again. Yeah. Yep, so many stories that we could tell, but let's wait for another time. Gonna wrap up my job this week. All right, I will play us out of here. We do still have closing music. There we go. Hopefully everybody hears the closing music quietly, and I will wind down the show. Good to see some old and new people here. Hello, person on LinkedIn who stayed till the end. And see everybody Tuesday for using Claude with qualitative research, and then Wednesday for another Ask Me Anything. Everybody be well and see you on the Discord. Bye.